A silent ripple of movement crossed the void as the alien fleet approached the solar system. Their ships were vast, impossibly massive constructs, glimmering with strange alloys that reflected starlight in jagged, unnatural patterns. From the cold distance of Earth's observatories, the fleet looked like a constellation of war, each vessel a fortress, each engine a pulse of alien certainty. Satellites and telescopes detected the anomaly first, sending alerts that traveled faster than panic could spread. Humanity watched in collective tension, the Earth itself bracing under the weight of unspoken dread. Yet, beneath the anxiety, there was preparation, an invisible web of readiness, woven meticulously and quietly over decades. Global communication channels converged into a single broadcast, a last message from a united planet to the stars. Its tone was deliberate, calm, precise, yet unyielding, outlining the capacity of Earth's defenses. Orbital energy arrays, railguns capable of firing with pinpoint accuracy across planetary distances, and AI-driven defense networks formed the invisible shield behind the words. Every syllable of the warning carried an implicit promise: challenge this world, and the consequences would be immediate and absolute. Across the fleet, alien observers studied the transmission, their sensors probing, dissecting, calculating. They saw signals, numbers, potential threats, but interpreted them through the lens of arrogance, dismissing the quiet authority as bluff. Humanity's fortifications were not flashy, they were subtle, smart, and mercilessly efficient. In the hidden orbits beyond the reach of casual observation, satellites transformed into weapons platforms capable of directing concentrated energy strikes. Asteroid belts became traps, harnessed with gravitational manipulation and precision detonations to intercept intruders. Orbital drones, small enough to be invisible yet swift enough to swarm like metallic locusts, awaited commands that only the Earth's systems could issue. Even the largest cities on the planet pulsed with energy redirection grids, capable of absorbing and returning destructive forces many times greater than their own mass. Every design reflected human cunning, a combination of adaptability, foresight, and ruthless logic that no external intelligence could predict without experience in human strategy. The alien fleet moved with confidence, a slow, deliberate advance as though time itself obeyed their command. Command ships towered above smaller vessels, projecting authority through sheer scale. Sensors scanned Earth continuously, noting every change, every burst of energy. Yet for all their technical superiority, the fleet lacked imagination. Their minds were calibrated to overwhelm, not to anticipate. They assumed the warnings were threats without teeth, a primitive planet posturing against inevitability. Under that assumption, they positioned their forces for a direct assault, leaving gaps in formation that would later prove catastrophic. Their arrogance was visible even from the cold edges of space. Formations were rigid, decisions slow, and hubris coded every calculated movement. Earth's response, however, had been quietly patient. For decades, humanity had observed the stars with equal diligence, tracking anomalies, charting trajectories, and developing systems that relied not on brute strength alone, but on anticipation and precision. This fleet, no matter its size, would encounter a planet prepared in ways beyond their understanding. Communications were silent but pervasive, sensors alive with constant analysis, defense platforms interconnected into a single organism of strategy and execution. Humanity's final warning had been more than words. It was a promise, a statement of inevitability, a test that the aliens refused to acknowledge. As the fleet drew closer, the tension became almost tangible. Invisible energy fields shimmered in the darkness between planets, orbital systems bristled with quiet readiness, and every human-engineered mechanism waited for the precise moment to demonstrate the lethal discipline of a species underestimated for centuries. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as arrogance approached reckoning, and the first signals of confrontation began, unseen yet palpable, heralding a storm that the aliens could not anticipate and would not survive. Beneath the alien gaze, Earth's true defenses stirred in silent coordination. The planet's surface and orbit concealed mechanisms that dwarfed what the invaders imagined. Small, sleek drones, capable of weaving between satellites, were programmed to execute maneuvers impossible for the bulk of the fleet to anticipate. Railguns, positioned across multiple continents, aligned trajectories with celestial precision, calculating angles that exploited planetary rotation and gravitational fields. Orbital arrays hummed quietly, invisible to sensors, waiting to unleash torrents of energy with pinpoint accuracy. Humanity had spent decades anticipating intrusion, studying the weaknesses of brute force strategies, and building responses that relied on intelligence, timing, and adaptability rather than sheer size. False signals radiated outward, tiny distortions in electromagnetic waves that twisted alien sensors into confusion. Ships moved erratically, breaking formation in response to phantom threats that did not exist. Each misstep the aliens made was anticipated, magnified by algorithms that predicted their reactions with cold precision. For every probe sent to test defenses, an invisible counter was ready, ensuring that the fleet never gained a foothold. Human ingenuity had transformed the familiar into the lethal. Asteroid fields became invisible mazes, planets' gravity harnessed to redirect attacks, and electromagnetic pulses silently disabled systems without ever revealing the source. Every countermeasure was calculated to exploit arrogance and overconfidence, turning assumed superiority into vulnerability. Humans had mastered timing with the patience of the cosmos itself. Orbital drones and planetary weapons synchronized their readiness to cosmic events, solar flares, gravitational tides, and orbital alignments. These natural phenomena became allies, enhancing the power of human systems while remaining imperceptible to alien observation. This precision ensured that every strike, every maneuver, would have maximum effect, overwhelming the enemy before they even realized the magnitude of the threat. Humans understood that war was not a matter of size alone but of foresight, adaptability, and exploitation of overconfidence. Meanwhile, the alien fleet pressed forward, unaware that each decision had been anticipated. Their formations, impressive but rigid, reflected a mindset trained to dominate by raw force. They believed that intimidation and technology alone were sufficient, failing to consider the unpredictability of a species that thrived on adaptation. Command ships directed waves of smaller vessels toward Earth, confident that early probes could secure data sufficient to dismantle defenses. Instead, each movement played into traps designed to fracture coordination, to exploit reliance on predictable tactics, and to force the fleet into positions that rendered them vulnerable. Every layer of human preparation was invisible but deadly. Energy fields shimmered faintly, beyond detection, absorbing and redirecting attacks. Orbital defense platforms acted autonomously, adjusting targeting calculations in real time. Railguns fired with calculated intervals, ensuring that even if a strike missed, the next aligned perfectly with the fleet's trajectory. AI systems monitored every response, refining algorithms with each observation, ensuring the humans could predict not only movements but intentions. There was no chaos in the defense. Every reaction, every strike, was deliberate, calculated, and inevitable. The aliens remained arrogant, dismissive of subtlety. They interpreted human signals as hesitancy, a weakness to exploit. Their commanders believed that size, numbers, and firepower guaranteed dominance, failing to recognize the intelligence woven into every layer of Earth's defenses. Even as drones swarmed and probes were destroyed before achieving meaningful observation, alien pride blinded them to reality. Every tactic the humans employed was invisible to eyes trained to see only conventional patterns, a demonstration of cunning that could not be measured by raw strength. Humanity's preparations were complete, silent and lethal, waiting only for the moment the aliens assumed victory. Every hidden mechanism, every orbital platform, every quantum calculation was aligned to respond with perfect precision. The arrogance of the invaders had become their weakness, and the intelligence of the humans had created an unseen web of inevitability. When the first strike came, the fleet would discover in seconds what decades of preparation had made certain. Earth had never relied on intimidation, only calculation, strategy, and a patient mastery that no overconfident enemy could withstand. The first probes of the alien fleet entered Earth's orbit with quiet arrogance, small ships moving with calculated precision yet blind to the depth of preparation awaiting them. As they breached the outer perimeters, invisible forces engaged. Energy pulses, carefully modulated and focused, struck with surgical accuracy, tearing through hulls and sending fragments tumbling into the void. The alien ships were powerful, but power alone proved insufficient against a system designed to anticipate every action. Sensors detected threats that did not exist, navigation systems faltered, and the fleet's discipline began to unravel before a single larger vessel had approached. Humans relied on adaptability rather than overwhelming firepower. Drones, small and almost imperceptible, swarmed from concealed orbital stations, coordinating attacks with instantaneous precision. Each drone acted independently yet as part of a synchronized organism, surrounding the alien craft in a net of relentless, calculated pressure. Projectiles and beams struck at critical junctions, bypassing conventional armor, exploiting weaknesses that brute strength could not overcome. The alien probes had underestimated the planet entirely, and each response they triggered played directly into an invisible human design. The alien fleet's initial confidence eroded rapidly. Formation patterns fractured as their ships reacted to phantom threats, misjudging trajectories, and overcompensating for attacks that were never meant to be intercepted in the first place. The command ships attempted to reassert control, sending directives that were already anticipated and countered before transmission reached its destination. Every maneuver they executed revealed the gulf between raw capability and intelligent application. Humans had not only prepared defenses, they had predicted responses, shaped behavior, and forced error without exposing themselves. Earth's orbital arrays unleashed waves of kinetic energy and directed electromagnetic bursts, each strike calculated to disrupt without revealing its source. Alien communications were jammed intermittently, producing confusion and mistrust among their ranks. Ships collided with debris fields or misaligned formations, while drones appeared to emerge from nowhere, invisible until they struck with precision. The invaders' reliance on rigid strategies collided with the human ability to adapt instantaneously, creating chaos within their fleet without exposing a single vulnerability. Human intelligence extended beyond technical mastery. Signals and countersignals, subtle manipulations of electromagnetic frequencies, induced patterns of hesitation and error. The aliens misinterpreted defensive actions as hesitation, reacting aggressively, further compromising their coordination. Each reaction was anticipated and exploited. Every attempt to regroup only deepened their disarray. The humans had turned prediction into a weapon, exploiting arrogance, impatience, and unfamiliarity with subtlety. In minutes, the alien fleet had gone from confidence to confusion. Probes and smaller vessels were destroyed, disabled, or trapped, often before they could relay data back to command. The command ships themselves, immense and imposing, struggled to maintain cohesion. Every maneuver was a struggle against invisible currents of human design. Even their technological superiority could not overcome the advantage of foresight combined with adaptability. Each strike against them only amplified the inevitable outcome, exposing their lack of imagination. The psychological impact on the aliens was profound. Sensors overloaded with anomalous readings, formations broke, and panic, subtle at first, spread among crews. The invaders had never encountered a species that wove strategy and anticipation into every defensive layer, turning a planetary defense into a fluid and lethal organism. By the time the first large-scale human countermeasures were deployed, the fleet's cohesion had been compromised, and their arrogance turned into vulnerability. The planet itself remained untouched. No city burned, no shield faltered, no energy grid wavered. Humans had executed their plan without exposure, each measure precise, each response calculated, each strike inevitable. In space, the alien fleet faltered, discovering that assumptions based on size and power were worthless against a species that had mastered patience, strategy, and foresight. The first confrontation ended in moments, but the implications were absolute. Intelligence, adaptability, and precision had made humans unstoppable, and the fleet's overconfidence had sealed their fate long before they realized the true threat. The moment had arrived. Hidden throughout the orbits and beyond, humanity's mechanisms synchronized with flawless precision. Every railgun, every drone, every energy array aligned, awaiting the exact instant when the alien fleet assumed superiority. Calculations accounted for rotation, gravity, and distance, every variable optimized to amplify the outcome. The aliens, confident in their size and technology, had left themselves exposed, moving in rigid formations that ignored the invisible threads of anticipation woven by human minds. What followed was not a battle of chance, but the execution of inevitability. The first strike tore through the vanguard. Invisible energy beams cut across space with perfect timing, intersecting alien shields at weak points and rendering defenses ineffective. Explosions erupted, cascading through rows of ships like a chain reaction, as structural integrity failed under pressures designed to overwhelm even the largest vessels. Fragments tumbled into void, each piece a testament to precision, not luck. The alien fleet, once imposing, staggered, their movements chaotic as command systems struggled to coordinate responses that had already been anticipated and neutralized. Humans exploited every opportunity. Orbital drones moved in patterns impossible to predict, attacking exposed engines, guidance arrays, and power cores. Electromagnetic pulses disabled systems across multiple vessels simultaneously, leaving crews scrambling in panic. Every reaction by the aliens only deepened their vulnerability. Attempts to reorganize were futile. The battlefield had been designed to trap overconfidence. Even the largest command ships found themselves isolated, targets for concentrated fire that could have destroyed entire squadrons. Every weapon fired by humans was a calculated step, a demonstration of intellect outmatching raw power. The aliens have relied on strength, but humans relied on strategy. Gravitational fields subtly manipulated trajectories, causing alien ships to collide with debris or veer into deadly zones. Railgun projectiles, invisible until impact, struck with energy amplified by orbital dynamics, punching through massive hulls as if they were paper. Swarms of drones, coordinated by AI, intercepted any countermeasures, nullifying attacks before damage could occur. Every layer of defense the aliens had assumed would protect them became a liability, exploited by the humans' mastery of environment, timing, and precision. Panic spread rapidly through the fleet. Sensors overloaded, warnings ignored, formations collapsed. Even the alien commanders, once confident, realized too late the scope of their error. The humans had not merely defended, they had engineered annihilation. Every movement the aliens attempted to regain control played directly into human strategy, magnifying their losses. Explosions, fires, and cascading chain reactions consumed thousands of ships in moments, a demonstration of intellect over size, cunning over arrogance. The void itself seemed to crack under the perfection of the strike, debris reflecting the brilliance of human foresight. No human lives were at risk. Every system operated autonomously, executing strategies designed to minimize exposure while maximizing effect. Earth itself remained untouched, a silent witness to the orchestration of destruction. The aliens, with all their firepower and numbers, were helpless against planning, anticipation, and the ruthless efficiency of a species underestimated for centuries. Their arrogance, the belief that intimidation equaled dominance, had made them vulnerable to the exact precision of human calculation. As the strike continued, the scale of devastation became absolute. Entire fleets vanished in seconds, command ships reduced to drifting fragments, smaller vessels shattered beyond repair. There was no escape, no opportunity for repair, no chance to adapt quickly enough. Humanity's response was faster, smarter, and inevitable, a testament to decades of preparation and an unshakable understanding of their adversary. The aliens discovered the consequences of underestimating a species that combined patience, intellect, and adaptability with unrelenting resolve. In the silent aftermath, only fragments remained. The void was littered with wreckage, alien technology reduced to debris scattered across orbital space. The humans had proven not through brute force alone, but through foresight, strategy, and unparalleled coordination that the invaders' arrogance had been their undoing. The fleet's destruction was not merely victory, it was a statement. Underestimation of humanity carried a cost beyond imagination, and any who assumed superiority over Earth would meet the same fate. The alien fleet was gone. Only drifting fragments marked the scale of their attempted invasion, scattered across orbit and drifting toward the cold silence of space. What had appeared as an unstoppable force was now nothing more than debris, a testament to the consequences of underestimating a species that combined intellect, adaptability, and precision with an unyielding sense of purpose. Humanity had not merely defended Earth. They had demonstrated a capacity for strategy and execution that rendered arrogance meaningless. Every weapon, every calculation, every silent measure had culminated in the eradication of an entire fleet before it could threaten the planet's surface. Earth remained untouched, its cities intact, its defenses uncompromised. The planet itself seemed to breathe a quiet relief, as if acknowledging the survival of its inhabitants and the intelligence that had guided every response. Humans observed from orbit and surface alike, not with triumph rooted in violence, but with understanding of the discipline and foresight that had allowed them to prevail. The contrast between the alien hubris and human preparation was absolute. What the invaders had perceived as weakness, hesitation, or inferiority had, in truth, been strategy incarnate, designed to exploit their arrogance and ensure irreversible outcomes. The silence of space was profound. Debris drifted slowly, reflecting sunlight in patterns that seemed almost like a memorial, a reminder of the consequences of misjudging a species that combined patience with calculation. Every remaining sensor, every AI system, scanned the aftermath, cataloging fragments, ensuring that no threat remained unaddressed. Humans had fought not for spectacle but for precision. The scale of destruction was immense, yet controlled, a demonstration of discipline and strategy over chaos and unbridled power. Humanity's broadcast extended beyond the remnants of the alien fleet. Messages, calm yet unmistakably firm, radiated into the void. They were warnings, not threats, statements of capability and resilience. Any civilization observing would understand, this planet did not bluff, did not rely on intimidation alone, and was capable of annihilating superior forces through intelligence, timing, and foresight. The transmission carried the implicit declaration that Earth was a force to be reckoned with, a species that combined intellect and adaptability in ways no invader could ignore. Debris continued to drift past satellites and orbital arrays, yet the planet's systems remained vigilant. Humans monitored gravitational anomalies, remnants of energy bursts, and trajectories of scattered alien technology. Every measure had been calculated to prevent recovery or regrouping. The aftermath was not chaotic. It was a controlled, strategic assertion of dominance, a demonstration that intelligence, discipline, and foresight could achieve what numbers and size alone never could. The human legacy was clear. The planet itself, serene and whole, bore witness to a species capable of anticipating threats far beyond the perception of those who relied solely on strength. Every destroyed ship, every miscalculated movement of the alien fleet, reinforced a lesson humanity had long internalized. Survival was not enough. Mastery of environment, anticipation, and strategy defined supremacy. Humans had transformed a potential catastrophe into a demonstration of inevitability, showing that intellect could not merely match, but surpass, raw force. In the quiet that followed, Earth continued to shine against the darkness, unthreatened and unbroken. The aliens' failure was absolute, their arrogance punished with precision. The systems that had protected the planet now stood as silent witnesses to the outcome, each functioning component a reminder of human foresight and ingenuity. The planet was safe, but its safety was not accidental. Every aspect of the victory was deliberate, every success a reflection of preparation, adaptability, and the relentless application of intelligence. Humanity had proven itself not by chance, not through overwhelming numbers, but through discipline, strategy, and a level of foresight that left no margin for error. The remnants of the alien fleet floated as evidence of what happened when arrogance met preparation. Earth had not simply survived, it had triumphed in a manner that would resonate across the cosmos. The lesson was undeniable. Humanity could not be underestimated, its intellect and resolve made absolute through decades of planning and the precise orchestration of power. The planet remained, shining and formidable, a silent yet unmistakable warning to any who might challenge it in the future.